So it's been a real long while since I made a video about publishing, and that's because there's not really much of an update. Yes, I am sending queries out to agents, but haven't gotten any responses. I haven't even gotten a request for pages on this one. But I have come across something that's inspired a couple of thoughts. This question, right here. Why are you the person to tell this story? This is far from the only form I've seen this particular question on. It appears on quite a few of them, and I understand why it's there. It's there for a couple of reasons, both for people who are, experts in their field and are writing books in their field, so they can say, like, oh, why did I write a book featuring ancient languages? I have 3 PhDs in ancient languages, or whatever. But it's also for own voices authors. Authors who are writing protagonists that are less commonly represented in media from the perspective of a protagonist that has the same reason to be less represented. So, for specifically, like, autistic people writing about autistic protagonists, or people of color writing about people of color. And that's something that a lot of agents are looking for right now. And cool, that's good. But for someone who isn't an expert in a field or an own voices author, the question's a little bit annoying sometimes. Why am I the person to tell this story? Because I'm the one who thought of the story? Like, I wish I had something deep and meaningful to say there, but it's just because I'm the one who wrote it. I think for most of us, the more compelling question is, why were you compelled to write this story? That is an interesting question. I can give you an answer like, oh, I felt compelled to write this novel because I'm feeling rather disempowered in the world right now, and I wanted to explore the question of what does it feel like to be not powerful in a powerful society, or like, oh, I'm very interested in exploring the questions of what does it mean to have privilege and to care about someone who does not. Like, those are things that I can talk about. But just like, why am I the person to tell this story? Because I thought of it. But it's still nowhere near my least favorite question that appears on these forums. My least favorite question is one that I only know of a couple of agents that ask, and that is, what is your favorite line in this book? This is like 100,000 word book, and you want me to pick one favorite line? Like, yeah, I'm gonna have problems with that, both because, like, I'm not by nature a poetic author. I'm not writing words to be pretty and hit well on the ear. Like, yeah, that's good if they do, but my focus is telling the story as concisely and cohesively as possible. Voice is not what I'm really leaning heavily into. So, I'm never sure what to pick on that question. Because if I do pick a rather poetic line, then am I misleading them to make them think that my entire book's going to be poetic in tone? But if I pick a line that's more apropos to the tone of my books, then are they going to think that I'm incapable of writing anything pretty? And also, just like, if I just pick a line that is literally just like, oh, it's really good at imparting the information that I want, quite often it's only good at imparting the information I want in comparison to everything else. Like, these lines do not exist in a vacuum. So, like, for example, this particular book, while I was writing it, or actually while I was editing it, I knew that this question of what's the best line in your book was going to eventually come up, because I was going to query that agent that wants the best line in your book. And so I just, as I was reading through, found some lines that I liked and set them aside. And all of them, I realized in retrospect, are only good because of how they exist in the story. So one is, Rissa had thought it pointless and painful, like when you're having an amazing, peaceful, perfect dream, only to wake and realize it couldn't be true. Like dreaming of the dead. I do like that line, but I like it because it references other stuff in the book. By itself, it's not that interesting. So I really hate that question just because I feel like it's saying very clearly, your books aren't the books I'm looking for. But maybe I'm wrong. I never know until I send a query. One more quick thing about querying that I wanted to add to this video is there have been a couple of agency websites I've found throughout the years that I think do a spectacular job, but just one that is right here. Let me show you. This is the website for an agency called the Bent Agency. What I like about them is when you click on who we are, which is clear, present, right at the top, very easy. We have information about the general mission and our team, like basic information about who we're looking at here, and then the information on who's actually at the agency. And what I love here, very clear, right at the top, this person is closed, this person is open, this person is closed, and a list of what they represent. I don't have to go searching for it. I don't have to like dig deeply. And what I love about this is it's not doing all my work for me. Like I'm not saying like, oh, now I don't have to click on everyone. But what it saves me from doing is spending an hour looking up each individual person and reading about every single thing they like or dislike in a book, only to find out as soon as I click on them, they're actually closed. But also, like, I can just scan through and go like, okay, well, there's no point in me looking at this one, or actually that one's perfect for me. Zoe is the one I've actually queried. But there's, for example, no point in me looking at this one because this agent just doesn't represent my genre and age group. So I know to just skip it. Not even click on them, not spend an hour getting to know this person. I can literally just skip them. It is brilliant. This is exactly what I look for in an agent's website. Also, very clear directions of how to query individual people, and you can get to the agents from the submission page really easy in case you go here first. Everything is nice and simple. I really wish more agencies set up their website like this. That being said, while I am here, I might as well give you a quick update on how the querying process is going. Manic expression. In case you cannot guess from that manic expression, not great. At this point, I have sent out 32 different queries, gotten, about a dozen rejections, no requests for pages, no requests for full transcripts. Most of the rejections are coming really quick. I find that the longer I do the querying process, back in the day when I first started querying agents, I could almost across the board expect it to be 2 or 3 months before I heard from most of these agents, and now it's not uncommon for me to get a rejection the same day I send the query. But not much is happening yet.